this is David Stark from WatcherPass.com, your website for movie reviews, interviews, and recommendations. Today I'm joined by Jeremy Garelick, the director and producer, and Jordan VanDina, the writer of the all-new Hulu comedy, The Binge. It's a coming-of-age teenage comedy that has a lot of crazy situations and a long journey as these kids kind of try to take part in their first binge. It's a really funny movie, and we're going to talk to them very quickly, but first, let's check out the trailer.
Good morning, American High.
America, a few years from now, prosperous, clean, and sober. Except one night a year, when all drugs and alcohol are legal.
For you seniors, you will be able to participate in your first binge. Let's say your name's Kimberly Jones, and let's say you binged on a jet ski, which exploded into flames. She's here tonight. Can you guys guess which one she is? I'll give you a hint. You're cold, getting warmer, red hot, burning hot. She's the one who looks like a mummy.
This is our last chance to make a great memory.
7, 6.
Tonight, we become legends. Look, we go to that party, you look Lena in the eyes and tell her exactly what you wanted to tell her your entire life. Let's go! Wait!
We'll give you a ride if you punch each other in the face.
What?
We'll do it.
1, 2... To our first sip of alcohol.
Another round?
Absolutely.
I'll have some celery sticks.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Right. So should we start with a cheers?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cheers.
Down to Bahama. Cheers.
To
Thanks
the
for having
binge.
us.
Boom. Thank
To
you.
the binge.
So this movie, it's a very funny movie, and I love the premise. It's clearly inspired by The Purge, but were there other inspirations, or was this just kind of, I don't know, maybe you were drinking one evening and thought about The Purge and thought, well, what if we had other options? Like, I guess, what was the impetus for this movie?
Exactly. Well, as all great artists do, I start from the title and work backwards. So I had a website called Weekend Scripts where I would release like parody scripts that I would write over a weekend, and I knew they couldn't get made. But I was like, oh, what if I try one that could get made? And I had never seen The Purge, but I saw the trailers, so I knew the concept, and then came up with a binge and took it from there. And look at us now.
Yeah, there you go.
Drinking
No,
on a Zoom during a pandemic.
I love that the idea just kind of like started on a whim and just kind of built itself out, and you added more and more things to it.
That's it.
What's one of the things that you just mentioned, Jordan, was just that you never saw The Purge, and I had actually never seen The Purge, and I remember we started watching it together like once we already started. I don't remember if it was like right before we started shooting or once we started shooting. Yeah. But I think what is, people are like, oh, it's The Purge meets Superbad, or it's like, it's The Purge, but funny. And I think that we were both, I was drawn to the concept because it's just a funny concept, but we really never set out to make a parody. And we just, and I think it's good we actually never saw The Purge because we weren't trying to do an airplane version or a scary movie version of The Purge. We wanted to just make a really funny movie that's just the way in. And so yeah, congrats, Jordan, on coming up with such a great idea.
Well, I am the king of Hollywood. Everyone says it.
There we go.
You are
yeah.
a genius.
I'll tag this video, King of Hollywood.
Yes, please do.
Well, so it's interesting you say you never saw The Purge.
Hollywood, Florida.
What's that?
Hollywood, Florida.
Very good, Jeremy. Well, I think you said enough. We'll take it from here.
It's interesting you say you never saw The Purge, because I definitely saw some parallels with the Purge film and some of the activities. Had you seen it when the movie started filming? Like when people are preparing and maybe boarding up their houses, and some of the costumes seem to have Purge inspirations.
Definitely I took what was in the script from the trailer, I believe. So like the locking the doors and the alarms and the stuff like that. I was like, this is all I need to see. Just the how do they set it up and set up the world? And then me and Jeremy watched it maybe the day before we started shooting. I don't know.
I don't even think we watched the whole thing, did we?
We watched the opening to be like, well, what are we doing wrong? And how
yeah.
the opening
and when we watched it, we were just like, oh wait. We were like, oh, that was so simple. what they do.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
They're so much better than us.
yeah.
Also, the opening is the best part of the first Purge. The second Purge is a pretty entertaining movie, but
Yeah.
you know,
But there's
you can
such a
get-
negative connotation towards parody movies now that if you say like, "Oh, we're doing a parody," they're like, "Oh, you're doing some dumb like epic movie or whatever." There's so much negativity towards it. But I love like Airplane and Naked Gun and all that. We got to bring the parody back.
Well, this is the start, right? This is the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
step. So I guess Jordan, you started writing, and Jeremy, when did you kind of attach yourself? Or do you all collaborate regularly, or was this something that kind of you read the script and just wanted to jump in on that?
We read the script. Our team at American High read the script and just thought it was a genius script, and the writing. You know, we were laughing out loud from Jordan's writing from moment one, and that's a rare thing to have the combination of not just a really fun, good, simple concept, but also the ability to make me or the team laugh when you're reading a script. And Jordan just has that rare gift. And we read it and we wanted to make the movie, and I don't even think, did we option? I can't remember. I think we just like met with Jordan, we optioned it, and then we were trying to get Hulu to make it, and then Hulu made it, and Jordan and I have not, a day has not passed where since then where Jordan and I are not talking about 55 other ideas, and it's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Hopefully more parodies, right?
Oh yeah, you got a lot in the bank.
So one thing I also loved is the cast was such an interesting kind of hodgepodge group of actors that you hadn't really seen in a major movie before. Where did you find them? Jordan, did you start writing with some of these people in mind, or did they just kind of come in, and fill the slot that you had in your head?
Well, everyone else passed. These were the only actors
This was the bottom of the barrel cast that we could get. So I mean, we didn't have a choice really. No, I mean,
those hungry actors.
Yeah. With the teens, it's like, it was hard. I mean, American High knows so much better than me because they've done a bunch of these, that who are the best kids working that could pass for teenagers. And so when I was thinking about it, I really had no one in mind. Obviously, I think we got the best. And with Vince, that was just an unbelievable get because of Jeremy. And yeah, I don't know. Jeremy, were you picturing anyone when you were reading the script, or?
Sorry, I'm trying. It was so long ago, I don't even remember. I don't think I was. I mean, I think we had
shot
done,
this 18 years ago.
Yeah,
So
I had. There was no Corona when we shot this. I think I may have been, because we had just done Big Time Adolescence with Griffin Gluck and Thomas Barbuska, and we had done Banana Split. I may have been picturing just the guys that I've worked with beforehand, but yeah, I didn't. I'm not sure it's the same people that were in that ended up being in the movie.
And it's interesting you mentioned Vince Vaughn. My review hasn't been published yet because of the embargo, but I wrote, it's essentially both figuratively and literally a man among boys, or an adult among kids. Like, his performance is just fantastic. So I guess, how did he get attached, and how much fun was it to film with him?
I'm trying to remember, Jordan, if we were in Toronto at the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival, or like I was on the phone. I try to remember when we because we rewrote that character to be the principal. We rewrote it. I think it was like a handful of different characters that we kind of combined as one villain. And I had worked with Vince. I did the breakup with Vince that I wrote and produced for him. The first movie that I sold was called The Golden Tux, and Vince was attached to star in that. Eventually I made that, and it was called The Wedding Ringer, with Josh Gad and Kevin Hart playing the role of Vince Vaughn. But I had a movie with I have another movie with Vince called The Insane Laws that I was going to make at Universal with Jason Bateman. So I've known Vince for a long time, and I knew that when I got involved, I wanted to make him this character, and Jordan just did an amazing job writing for Vince. And yeah, it's Jordan. Like, we got Vince to attach himself because he read it because of our relationship, but he said yes because of what Jordan did. So
Oh, thank you.
Awesome.
It was crazy. After he read it, he called me. Jeremy gave him my number, and it was just like, the voice is so iconic. Like, when I picked up the phone, I was like, holy shit. Like, this guy made all my favorite movies, and you're just talking to him on the phone. Really,
Yeah.
really crazy. But like, I could have written nothing, and he's so good at improv that like it would have been just as genius if I had no words on the page.
Is he as funny on the phone as he is, in his acting persona? Is he just kind of like an extension of his characters?
Pretty much. I mean, he's so, yeah, and he's so smart too, and it's just like he's got all the stories from Swingers and Wedding Crashers and Old School, and it's just every time you talk to him, you're like, that was the best conversation I've ever had. It's crazy.
So interesting that you mentioned that you could have written nothing. I always kind of ask writers this because I know that you had the words that you wrote and the funny situations that you put up, but I guess when you got someone like Vince Vaughn and kind of this comedy where I imagine there's a lot of improv and a lot of retakes and things like that, I guess how much was improv and how much was what you were written? Is it some combination of both, as I imagine it must be? Or
Yeah, I would say the construct of the scenes always stayed the same, and then I would sit with Vince the night before the morning, and then he would just riff. Like, I would just sit there, and as he was going or like working through the scene, I would just type out what he was saying, and I would be like, please say this, like, do what you were doing when we were riffing, don't say my. So like, it was a bunch of improv and all made it 10,000 times better. But I don't know, was he I guess Vince always improvs like that, I assume.
well, I think there's the improv, which is somebody showing up. Like there's actors who improv and they show up on set and they come up with a bunch of stuff on set and they're working it out and they come up with funny stuff. Vince goes through, and he's a classically trained actor with who studied Stanislavski, and he goes through a real training process for figuring out who the character is. And a lot of what Jordan is referring to are those like nights that we spent, like those nights that we spent in the hotel where he's talking out loud about who the character is, always trying to understand what his intentions are. And he really comes from a place of, here I am, I'm the principal of this school, and what are my intentions as like being a principal, and what are my intentions in the scene? What am I trying to warn the student body about? And he really comes, like, he gets into character. Like, he really gets into character. So when he's riffing, he's not riffing from a place, he's never riffing from a place of, oh, I think this would be funny. Like, you'll never see Vince Vaughn saying, oh, I think this would be funny in character. You'll see his character going to a place where, and his mind works like, his mind works like nobody else. He'll just take the character and go towards a direction that's all because of what his objective is. And I've seen him do it. Like, I've seen him do it now for 20 years, working with him. And it's, sometimes I just sit back and I like to watch and enjoy. There was a scene, you're probably too young to remember the breakup, but there was this scene in the breakup we actually ended up taking it out, but it was me and Jay Lavender, and we started writing, and we were living at Vince's house, and I said, oh, what if Gary and Brooke were the characters, and they lived together in a condo, and then they broke up, and then they're trying to get the other person out of the condo. I said, what if Gary was leaving an outgoing like voice recording for anybody who calls in on the voicemail? And he was like, and he like just stopped me. He's like, and then he goes, hi, this is Gary. You've reached Gary and Brooke. If you're looking for Gary, you can leave a message here. If you're looking for Brooke, why? Like, why would you go down that road? And I'm like typing, like I'm trying to like just type feverishly as he's like walking around, like, and it's after about 5 minutes and like 3 pages of the funniest stuff, I just stopped. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna sit here and take this moment in, because I was like, I don't care anymore. Like, this probably will never be in the movie anyway. Like, I'm just gonna sit here and just enjoy the fact that I'm working with somebody who's, it was like watching, it was watching, Jimi Hendrix play or Clapton play the guitar. I was just like, I'm gonna enjoy this. So yeah. Anyway, sorry, that was a long answer, and I was plugging a different movie than ours. You can watch The Breakup on Netflix.
And Big Time Adolescence on Hulu as well. No, that was a great story, and thank you so much for thinking that I was young enough to not remember The Breakup. I do remember it. So this movie, and I imagine pretty much all the movies that you guys do, it seemed like it'd be a very fun movie to film. I guess how much fun was that to film, or is it you're in your job, you're kind of trying to make the funny situations, but everyone's kind of a professional. How does that work?
Jordan, what do you were there at every moment?
I didn't have any fun. I was pretty much miserable the whole time. I mean,
why are they butchering my script?
Yeah, it was a nightmare seeing Vince Vaughn take my words and butcher them. But yeah, it was my first movie that I've ever been, first script that I sold. So getting to be on set, a lot of writers don't get to do that. And being in Syracuse, where people aren't like affected by the film industry, and like a lot of times in LA, people are like, you're making a movie, so what? So am I. But being in Syracuse, people are still excited about it, and everyone's so cool and so nice, and it's like an event. And I was living with Jeremy and Will, the producer, and it just felt like a family while you're making it. And so for me, there's no pressure. I mean, I did the thing, I wrote the script. The pressure's really on Jeremy now. So I had the best time, and we would eat these chicken riggies. That's a food, pasta with chicken. What a blast. So yeah, every day for me was incredible. And it seemed like everyone else was having fun, but what do I know? Who cares about everyone else?
I really did have a good time. I really enjoyed the writing process with Jordan, and getting to know Jordan was just such a blessing during this time, and he became a really good friend. And actually, I thought this would be a good opportunity. Jordan, remember I said I got you a present?
Yeah.
And I forgot to give it to you. I may as well do this on this show.
Okay.
So, yeah. So this is you now have an official Jordan@AmericanHigh.com email.
Oh wow!
Whoa!
What an honor!
Welcome to the team. Officially.
Exclusive reveal.
What a time! Oh my God, this is about to get 10 billion views. What a reveal! Well, thank you. It's an honor. Great getting to know you, and yeah, this process has been nothing but fantastic for me.
So one thing I really enjoyed is at the very start there were all the YouTube clips of people who were binging and doing things, maybe making questionable decisions. How did you go about picking those, and how did you find the interesting collection of essentially bloopers, but real life bloopers?
Yeah, so that was something I think in the original script, Jordan wrote in real stuff happening that we would have to film, and I just knew for budget purposes we'd never be able to recreate all those things. So early on, we struck a deal with a few different places to license their clips. I think we've looked through probably, I don't know, how many of you looked through Jordan? Jordan filtered a lot of them to me.
So many. And then, yeah, I have a friend, Allie Maynard, who works at Ridiculousness. And so they helped us out, and they had a database of like, guy with a hat on runs into fire. Like you could just type that in and a video would pop up. So we would like take the best of those. But yeah, we watched 100,000 videos.
One of the things they would keep changing, because one of the things that would happen is a lot of these videos, nobody knows who the person was. It was just somebody else who was filming them. So it was really challenging to get clearance on a lot of them. So there were ones that were really, really funny that we could not find. I mean, to the point where I posted one of a drunk guy with a dog humping his head. And I put it out. I was like, can somebody please tell me who this person is? Because I want to reach out and say, can we put this in a movie? But yeah, we had to clear there's a lot of legal stuff we have to do.
The most stressed I've ever seen Jeremy is when he was looking for the owner of that dog face humping video. He really wanted that, and we couldn't find it. So if you know anyone out there, please
you
call
had to
us.
go through some dark circles of the internet to try to find that owner.
Yeah, really put us in a dark place.
I could just imagine that database just searching bad decisions and then just pop.
Exactly.